peep game, just off the rip. Jim Harbaugh gave a statement at the Los Angeles Chargers training camp today, and it is pure, uncut Jim Harbaugh. And I quote, "Never lie, never cheat, never steal. I was raised with that lesson. I have raised my family on that lesson. I have practiced that lesson to the teams that I've coached. No one's perfect. If you stumble, you apologize and you make it right. Today, I do not apologize. I did not participate, was not aware, nor complicit in those said allegations. So for now, it's back to work and attacking with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind." For those of y'all living underneath that particular rock, ESPN dropped a story on Sunday morning, afternoon, depending on where you are. Sunday morning on the West Coast. Sunday afternoon if you go to church. And they say they're expecting a notice of allegations to be submitted to the to Michigan on behalf of the NCAA. So level 1 infractions, level 2 infractions. But as I'm going through this stuff, there's a couple of things that I thought were worth talking about here. And none of them really have anything to do with casting judgment on Michigan. Y'all doing plenty of that already. You don't need me for that. On the other hand, I'm looking at this, I'm going, what did you expect him to say when you brought this to his door? He has kept this same energy forever. And by forever, I mean forever. The one thing that I really enjoy and love about Jim Harbaugh is that he is the same dude with everybody he meets. And as much as Michigan fans be on my head about 2022 and whatnot, that's the meanest thing that I've ever done to Michigan. And I don't think it was particularly mean at all. He's always recruited the kids that I know with a great level of respect, and his coaches treat those kids with a great level of respect. One in particular comes to mind, and I hope Marty's not going to get too mad at me about this story, but Dorian Green-Warren was one of my favorites, right? Like, full stop. Like, I love that dude. And I loved his daddy because his daddy was one of the first dudes to really support this channel and get behind me in what I was doing. And I remember him telling me about getting offered by Michigan and Jim Harbaugh coming to his table and sitting down over there, and the connection that he had with his son and with his mama. Now, Marty is not unlike me. We come to our children, shall we say, in a non-biological fashion. So we have to earn it a little different way. And that was one of the first times that I got to see what it was like for a parent and a kiddo to be on the other end of being recruited by Michigan, which is a public university that masquerades like a private university. But again, they keep that same energy with everybody they know and everybody they got. And if you the same mean cuss with everybody you meet, I'm cool with that. Other thing I thought was interesting about this is that we're asking Jim Harbaugh to talk about this before the allegations have been made public. Like, we know that they're on the way, but we've known they've been on the way for the better part of a year. And some of the stuff that apparently they are accused to have done, I kind of find petty and small. Like, apparently one assistant coach tried to help another player get verified on Instagram, which, by the way, more power to you, because that's one of the chief achievements of my professional career. Back when they were not making you pay for these, was like getting verified on these various platforms, because it elevated you to a stature that, you felt like you should be at, right? And if you think you're a big-time player or a big-time host, you ought to be verified, whatnot. And those of y'all that go way back with me know what that struggle was like. Another one was getting in trouble because he sent a text message to a high school sophomore. And I'm going, dog. Or you gave $100 at a charity golf tournament. These rules are antiquated. And on the one hand, I want to go at the NCAA over this. On the other hand, the NCAA is employed by its member institutions, and its member institutions want these bylaws in place. So it's kind of like, I don't want to compare it to the Electoral College, but that's what it feels like, right? If you want the system to change, you have to change the system. You cannot fault people for working within the rules that we all agreed to, and you can't say, I don't want to disregard this rule because it don't work for me no more, when everybody else is ostensibly following those rules. And I don't get into the whole they were cheating, we were cheating, everybody's cheating part so much as I get into the, all right, but you got caught or alleged, right? And no matter what you think about Connor Stalions sign stealing that some people still deny, I don't, but you have an opinion, right? And you have an opinion about what should happen or shouldn't happen at the University of Michigan. Facts are still the same, right? They won every game they played last year, every single one. They won before we knew about Stalions. They won after we knew about Stalions. That's a fact. I'm not going to argue a fact with you because it's a fact, okay? What we can argue is how these things are perceived, right? There's this conversation around who knew what and when and how. Okay, cool. Yeah, that needs to be sussed out. But for the sake of bringing this to an NFL coach's door after he has left the sport also screams more about what we want and what we believe, right? Because for those of you that don't know how show cause penalties work, show cause penalties are the universities have to show cause for hiring a coach to one of its posts, right? If you got the job, you got the job. And in the case of like a Jim Harbaugh, where somebody might need to show cause for wanting to hire him within this window for which they might throw a penalty at him, he in the NFL now. So like, if you want to make it 5 years, which seems to be pretty stringent and pretty standard when you go into like level 1 violations and whatnot, you ain't really going to hurt nobody with that one. Okay, there are going to be some people that always want to have Jim Harbaugh as their head coach for one reason or another, not the least of which is he wins, dog. And he wins at places that are not easy to win at, okay? San Diego, Pioneer League, won there. Stanford, where they offered maybe 40 guys a year, won there. Michigan, which was on the door, dead for 8 damn years before he got a win against Ohio State, won there. The Niners, San Francisco, with Kaepernick and them, won there. You ain't gonna be hurting nobody. And you know what? If you're a Michigan fan, this wouldn't upset me in the least. This is no skin off of me, right? He ain't coaching there. But if you want to say that it's going to extend to the staff that's already there as other people that are all the people on that staff being implicated, sure, you can do that. Cool. We watched them play. We watched them play without Harbaugh on the sideline. We watched them play without Sharon Moore on the sideline. We watched them go through Mike McDonald and Jesse Minter to Wink Martindale now. The only thing that has changed is the personnel. Like that's it, man. They've been winning. And I'm talking about this in large part because this has risen to that level. And this is one of those segments that if you're doing sports talk radio in the summer, you really love this because it is giving you something to talk about when we're not playing games. Otherwise, you're going to be talking about the men's volleyball team putting it on against Brazil. Or you're going to be talking about Val Allman absolutely throwing that discus. Or you're going to tell everybody, hey, look, the hierarchy needs to drop from me when I go back into the Spire to watch her. Or ain't going to be no more good boy protocol. Going to be some bang bang protocol at the tower. We can get it in. I'm telling y'all, got all the radio messages. Then hit the Spire at least 100 times. And it ain't dropped me the hierarchy it needs. See, that's the kind of stuff you might get during the summer. For those of y'all that play D2, I'm with you. We there. We on it. We going to be hunting. You know what I'm saying? That prismatic hunter build is broken. But again, until they change the way the build is done, where I got combination blow, golden gun, and a still hunt. Hello? Doing all the DPS. It ain't breaking the rules. You know what I'm saying? I think we got to change the rules around this is what I really do. Name, image, and likeness, transfer portal, all these things have influenced the way that we are looking at college football in a way that is categorically opposite of what it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. We don't recognize the sport 30 years ago. Now you have 4 power conferences. You have 18 teams in the Big 10, 16 teams in the Big 12, and 16 teams in the SEC, 17 teams in the ACC plus Notre Dame. What I'm saying here is, if this is the road you want to go down and you're the NCAA, fine. Do what the public thinks is necessary. But let's also be very clear about what it is that we want from all of this. And I'm not quite sure what it is that we all can agree we want from this, except to say we want competition and we want it to be fair.